Hello everyone, I'm Santiago and today I'm going to be testing GTA 5 on the GeForce GTX 950, and I'll also tell you a little about the settings of the game and what to tweak in order to get the best performance and quality of visuals, of course. So I'm going to be testing first the highest settings at 1080p, then I will lower the settings and I will change resolutions and all that kind of stuff. And you can know when I'm changing resolutions, qualities and all that stuff on the description below. I will tell you in which minute of the video I will be changing that. Also, for FPS monitoring, I'm using cam, as you can see in the bottom left corner of the video. If you want to learn how to use it, click on the top right corner of the video where the cam logo is, or just check the description below to learn more. Okay, so first, ignore suggested limits. What is this, you might ask? Well, as you can see up here, we have a video memory bar that tells us how much memory we have and how much the game is gonna use with the settings I chose. So according to the game, I chose settings that use 2941 megabytes, 2941 megabytes, and I have only 2 gigabytes of RAM, of VRAM. So it isn't very, very accurate in my opinion. I tested this before and it didn't use anywhere close this number. So to use this is if you go get a value way over your VRAM usage, your normal VRAM. If you turn this off, you cannot go over your VRAM, over your number. So turn it on if you want. I do that in order to reach the maximum settings. Then we have the DirectX version. Which API do you want? You have the DirectX 10, 10.1 and 11. I keep it on 11. Then we have full screen, window borderless or full screen. I keep it at full screen. Then resolution, we have 1080p. We have every resolution you could want. Aspect ratio, we keep it on 16:9 because that's the aspect ratio of my monitor. Then refresh rate, I keep it at 60 since this is my monitor's native. Then I only have one monitor connected right now. FXAA, this is a post-process anti-aliasing. It gets rid of the aliasing of the staircase effect, but this one isn't very accurate. It's approximate, so it consumes way less frame rates than using a higher quality one. Some people like it, some others say that it's like putting Vaseline on the screen. I don't know, I usually just keep it at default, just keep it on. Then we have MSAA, 2 times, 4 times and 8 times. This is multi-sampling anti-aliasing. This anti-aliasing is way more accurate, but consumes way more FPS, so I suggest you turn it off. If you have it at 2 times, you can also use TXAA, which is NVIDIA's anti-aliasing solution, similar to MSAA, but consumes less performance. It's like if you put it like this on 4 times and use TXAA, it's like using MSA 2 times in FPS consumption. So if you use MSAA 2 times without TXAA, it will consume the same as if you put 4 times TXAA. That's pretty much how it works. I'll turn it off for now. Then we have VSync. This caps the game at your frame rate. At the refresh rate of your monitor. So if you have a 60 Hz monitor, the game will be capped at 60. Or if you want to cap it at 30, you can do that too. If you click here, it says half. Here we'll cap it at your monitor's refresh rate. This is half the refresh rate. Since we have a 60 Hz monitor, they will be capped at 30 frames per second. If your game is hovering around 30 to 60, you might want to keep it at half. I will turn it off. Then pause game on focus loss. This doesn't matter. Here, population density. Well, this is the number of NPCs on screen. The population on screen. That's why population density is very self-explanatory. Then we have population variety. So here, what it does is people will have different clothes. Mostly, that's mostly what I've seen it does. But putting it here or here, for me it was the same. I didn't notice a difference at all. I'll keep it right here just so you can see. Distance scaling, well, this is the draw distance, pretty much what it is. Then texture quality, the quality of the textures. We have normal, high, very high, nothing more than that. Then we have the shader quality, normal, high or very high. It doesn't go any think further. If you change this, the game will restart to apply the settings. Then shadow quality, we have normal, high, very high. I noticed that normal is very pixelated, high is acceptable, and very high is a little better, but it also includes shadows casted by your car. So if the lights of your car are turned on, you will cast shadows only if it's on high or very high. Then reflection quality, we have normal, high, very high, or ultra. This is the resolution of the reflections, so this will make the reflections more accurate, more sharper. Then, reflection MSAA. This is to add anti-aliasing to the reflections. I don't see much of a point of doing this, but maybe you want to do it. I won't. Then water quality, very self-explanatory. Normal, high, very high. Normal looks very flat, like really weird. Then we have particles quality. If you change this, you will have to restart the game too. Normal, high, or very high. The particles, very self-explanatory. Grass quality, well, this is very important. We have normal, high, very high, or ultra. So normal, it's like a flat texture, not much of 3D grass over there. Then we have high, it adds some 3D grass on the ground. We have very high, which adds even more, and ultra adds way more detail, even flowers. This is the most demanding setting so far. On the 750 Ti, I recommended to keep 60s to keep it on normal, but here we can keep it on high mostly. But I will show you on ultra, and then we can have soft shadows. Well, this is a DirectX 11 feature. We have sharp, which are sharp shadows, for saying in some way, is very like a perfect shadow, like in old games. Then we have soft shadows that add some, the shadows will be softer. It's not a perfect line on the ground. It will have some soft edges. Well, softest edges. And that's mostly what it means. Then we have AMD CHS shadows. It's an AMD technology. And we have nvidia PCSS shadows, which are contact hardening shadows, trying to simulate real shadows. These are the ones that I know. Then we have post effects, normal, high, very high, or ultra. Post effects are motion blur, depth of field, explosions, and all that kind of stuff, lens flares. I keep it on ultra. Then we have motion blur strength. Keep in mind, if you keep this on normal, you won't have motion blur or depth of field, as you can see here. Depth of field, well, is that when you aim with your gun or anything like that, the screen will be blurry in the other places. Like if you are aiming at a car and there's a grassy background, you will see only the car the back will be blurry, but the car will look perfect because you're aiming at that. It's trying to mimic how your eye sees stuff, but I usually don't like it. I'll keep it on just to show you what it does. Then isotropic filtering, 16 times. Occlusion off, normal, and high. I didn't see much of a difference with this turn on or off. You can turn it off confidently. You won't lose much of, image quality. Tessellation, off, normal, high, or very high. Well, this is the geometry of some meshes. They will be more accurate and more detailed. So, for example, on some palm trees, you'll see a better shape on them, but that's the only thing I saw tessellation being applied to. Maybe on the characters in some parts you can see it, but you can turn it off confidently. Well, that's pretty much what the options menu is. Then we have the advanced graphics. And no. Okay, these are the advanced graphics. We have long shadows, very self-explanatory. Well, shadows are longer. That's what I saw. High resolution shadows. Yeah, this is very demanding. Don't even think of turning this on. Turn it on. It's very demanding. So yeah, way higher resolution shadows. Then high detail streaming while flying is more accurate. It will show more detail on the ground while you're flying. I suggest you turn this off too. Then distance scaling. This extended distance scaling is the distance scaling we saw in the first menu. The draw distance. This is extra draw distance if you didn't have enough draw distance. Then we have extended shadows distance. This is the distance where shadows show up. So if you keep it very low, shadows will pop up while you move. And that's pretty much it. Frame scaling mode. This is super sampling anti-aliasing. So this will be like, if I put it like this, it will be 4 times the resolution, for saying it some way. It's like 4K. So I suggest you don't use it. Okay, that's pretty much what the options menu is. So I'm at the highest setting. So, whoa, hang on a second, it froze. There we go. Okay, I'm using these settings. No high resolution shadows, no high detail streaming while flying. In graphics, I'm using 1080p, 1080p. Everything, as I show you, the highest possible. Motion blur at 30%. And that's pretty much what I'm using. PCSS shadows. And I'm in a grassy area, as you can see. This is the most demanding thing you can do, actually. Because grass destroys the frame rate. As you can see, now I'm below 30. But that's because I'm recording. It takes 3 to 5 frames per second. The recording. Let's get rid of these guys. Oh yeah, keep in mind that I'm using a 950, as you can see. As you can remember, mostly. So yeah, I'm just using the 950 and the A7 core is disabled. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So let's drive a little fast in order to see how it performs. This game is really CPU intensive when you drive fast. When you're not, you'll be totally fine with an i3. The thing is, well, the i3 when you drive fast is kind of, while the game is loading assets in real time while you're driving very fast, the i3 has some trouble keeping up sometimes. So the frame rate will be sometimes below 30 and below 60. If you try to maintain 60, you might have some issues. But to maintain 30, the i3 has no problems whatsoever. Well, as you can see at the highest graphics, I'm totally fine right now. I'm not dipping below 30. So this is the highest I could go with playable frame rates. So if you want to play at the maximum settings 1080p, you can play at mostly over 30 frames per second, as you can see here. The 950 is totally capable of that. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, you can play GTA 5 at the maximum graphics 1080p. Mostly better frame rate than a console. I mean, consoles run this a mix between medium and high, mostly medium, 1080p, 30 frames per second. And sometimes they drop below 30, but I don't remember mostly in which scenarios they drop. So I cannot give too much info about that. You should check Digital Foundry for that. But as you can see, driving fast is just, well, fine. Yeah, you might ask now, oh, but if you fly, you might destroy the frame rate. As you can see here, I'm on a grassy area. This usually destroys my frame rate in 750 Ti, but as you can see, we're not dropping below 30, and I'm recording, so add 3 to 5 frames per second to my frame rate. Stupid cops. Come on. Boom. Headshot. Okay. I'm sorry, Michael. Okay, let's fly now. I think I will die first. Then I will fly. Come on. Please keep dying. Headshot. Oh, you. Headshot. I should take down the chopper. Get down here. Yeah, shotgun should be better for this. Close quarter combat. CQC. As you can see, we have motion, well, a little motion blur and some depth of field. As you can see, this is depth of field. When I am here, all around it's blurry. See? This is depth of field. Nothing very special about it. If I add at the cop's card, the background will be blurry, as you can see there. Whoa, headshot. They headshotted me. Okay, I will now fly in a chopper and I'll show you. This is kind of the worst case scenario. This is the highest you can go with playable frame rates, as far as I'm concerned. So not bad at all. I'm pretty surprised with that. It's a big boost from the 750 Ti on this game. So let's see if it finishes loading. Here we are. Okay. So we are here. Let's spawn a chopper. Oh, I cannot spawn the vehicle here. Well, I will use this moment to show you the shadows. So you can see the shadows are kind of weird. These are the nvidia shadows. As you can see, they are soft when the shadow is finishing. They are kind of soft. They are trying to mimic real shadows. They look good. I cannot complain. As you can see, this one here. It starts being soft as long as the shadow is away from the object. It's softer, and here it's really soft, just like real shadows. But they're exaggerating with it, I think. Well, let's go into the chopper. Come on, let me put the chopper. Bust off. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to fly over the city and then over the grassy areas so I can show you. Okay. So into the city. Here we come. Let's go a little down here so I can show you the... Let me see. Oh yeah, we're fine. Oh, sorry. We're totally fine here. Let's go into the countryside.
You are in restricted airspace. Divert your course or you
Now that we have the chance. Oh yeah, this game looks very good. I cannot complain. Rockstar did a great job optimizing this game, so it was worth the wait from the console versions. Let's see, there should be grass here. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, this one should do. There should be grass over here. Okay, so you can see the grass here. The grass hates us. Yeah. Can you see it now? Grass kills the frame rate, so if I lower the grass, here we should be at 30. Well, at 3 frames per second we have 24, 25, 26, 27 frames per second without recording. But this is just a grass fault. Yeah, just grass. Maybe if I turn off some effects, I can get playable frame rates. Let's try going back into the 30s. I'll lower some stuff. Let's first lower post effects. We don't need them on that high. We can keep it on high. we don't use depth of field because we don't need that. Now let's see if it helps. Yes, apply the settings. Okay, so I turned both effects from ultra to high, just 2 settings down, no depth of field, and as you can see, we're getting 30s. And the game looks pretty awesome. So you can have ultra grass here. Nothing to worry about. You can see the drops to 28 and 27, but remember that recording takes around 3 to 5 frames per second. I'll say 3 mostly. So no problems. If you want more frames per second, you can just lower the grass quality. But that's another story. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try now lowering the resolution. I'll go back into the highest and test 900p, 10720. Okay, 900p. And as you can see on the highest, even with both effects on all the way into ultra and depth of field enabled, here we are at 30 mostly. So away from here we should be fine. Nothing to worry about. I'll mark this place on the map so I can find it later. I hope I can find it later. How did I mark over there? Okay. So yeah, this places like this are the ones that tank the frame rate due to the grass. So yeah, grass hate us all. Okay, now we try 720. I show only this because it's the worst case scenario so far. Okay, 720, highest settings, worst case scenario. Well, here we're totally fine. Very smooth, as you can see. But yeah, the thing here is that as long as you start dropping the resolution, there will be more CPU load. As you can see, the CPU usage is higher than before. So if you drive fast, you'll probably drop some frames for no reason, but it will be due to the CPU. That's bottleneck. If you get an i5 with an M50, you will be totally fine on any resolution. Yeah. Okay. From the shadows and effects, and then if it's too demanding, I'll start dropping some other settings. This one should be low by default. Then I'll lower this one too, but we have to restart the game for that, so I'll be doing that later. Shadow quality, we go into the high. Reflection quality, you won't notice this, trust me. The only difference I noticed was from high to normal. From high and very high, I didn't see much of a difference, so I keep it on high. Water quality, yeah, you can lower that, but we need to restart the game for that. Particles too, we need to restart the game. Grass, we need to restart the game. Shadows, well, nvidia's shadows look pretty nice, but with soft you should be fine. I'll keep these ones for now. Post effects, yeah, this one, I mean, if you like depth of field, keep it on ultra. If you don't care about depth of field, keep it on high. You won't notice the difference at all. Then, well, ambient occlusion, you will notice ambient occlusion in this one, but I will keep it just for now. Tessellation, turn this off. You won't notice this. It will be only on palm trees. Okay, so I apply those. Let's see how it behaves. Let's see if soft shadows help us. They should. Yeah, they do. They gave us a 10 FPS boost. So yeah, you want to give this shot. These shadows look nice. Look at this. They don't look bad. Trust me. But yeah, the thing here is the grass. The grass is terribly demanding. So we're going to change that, and I will restart the game because the game needs that. But I'll lower some other stuff. Particles on high. Water, you might keep it on high too. Now keep it on very high. It doesn't make much of a difference. in terms of performance. Then what else? I mean, occlusion, we keep it here. Then we just change grass quality into, yeah, let's keep it on high or very high. I'll keep it on high. Okay guys, so I'm back. I've restarted the game after changing the settings very drastically. So as you can remember, I'm using 1080p, FXAA, population variety right here, so highest textures, highest shaders, high shadows instead of very high, reflections on high instead of ultra, water quality on very high, particles on high, grass on high. I dropped this from ultra to high, soft shadows soft instead of nvidia shadows, pulse effects from ultra to high, no tessellation, and ambient occlusion on the highest too. And on advanced graphics we'll still have all this stuff over here, as you can see. Okay, so let's see. I flew all the way back into the area we were right now, into the grassy area, so you can see the results. And we're back here, and as you can see we have 50 frames per second into the grass. But what did it happen? Okay, as you can see, the GPU usage is kind of weird right now. Am I right? 90% usage is kind of a weird thing here. It's moving up and down. So that's CPU bottleneck, mostly, because the CPU cannot handle all that's happening at once, so it drops the frame rate. As you can see, when I fly, the GPU usage will lower. Oh, okay. I think I destroyed my copter. Let me get a new one. Pretty easy to do. But yes, you can see we're at 50s. And we can get into the 60s pretty easily. But due to the CPU, we cannot have solid 60s. Not here. I had to find a flat area. Let me see here. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we're back here. And as you can see, when I fly, the frame rate is 44, 43, but the GPU usage is below 70%, as you can see. It's just awfully low for what we need. If the GPU usage was higher, we will have higher frame rate. And the problem is due to the CPU. As you can see, the CPU is going between 80 to 100%. And this is the i7 with cores disabled, so on an i3 it should be worse. It will be worse. Because I'm moving very fast, stuff is popping up and the CPU cannot keep up with that. It's having some issues. As you can see now we are into the high 30s, but when I stop, if I stop here, as you can see the GPU usage is very low. So you need a better CPU for that if you want 60s. 60s stable, for saying it some way. Because you can see it's very inconsistent now. The GPU this GPU usage should be higher, but the CPU doesn't allow us to do so. So let's drop the settings. It will be worse if I drop the settings on the GPU usage, since if you lower the resolution, there is more GPU load. I'm sorry, CPU load. So it will be less stable. Let's fly a little faster. And as you can see, we have the same frame rate mostly. Let me go around. Okay. So I'm going to the same way I came from. And as you can see, we're at 900p, the same settings, and we have almost the same frame rate. High 30s. And sometimes into the 40s. But the GPU usage is below 50%. So that's not how it should work. It should be way better. It should be above 60. But that's due to the CPU limiting our GPU. Let's switch now to 720p. And now we're on 720. And as you can see, we have 50s. Let me turn around. Shut up, Tracy. I'll go a little lower. And as you can see, once I'm flying, we have 40s, high 30s, just like in the previous one. And as you can see, the GPU usage is very low. We have, how much percent? Let me see. We're at the low 40s and high 30s mostly, and we have less than 40% usage. Yeah, 40% GPU usage, but the CPU is going very high. You say, oh, but it's not at 100%. That doesn't really matter most of the time. But once we are more, well, we stand still for more time. We're not moving very fast. It should be better. Okay, I messed up here. So, as you can see now that we are not moving fast or anything of the sort, we have 60s. And we are not even using the full GPU. We're using half the GPU. We're using 50% the GPU. And that's limited because of the CPU. I mean, we could go higher than this. Okay guys, so now I'm back. I kept the same settings, 1080p, and the same settings I tweaked a moment ago, as you can remember. And advanced graphics, we keep them the same as before, as you can remember. Okay, so now I just disabled hyperthreading on the i7. I kept the 4 cores and the turbo boost, so this should be close to an i5 4690, something like that. So I'm not using hyperthreading, I'm using turbo boost and the 4 cores of the i7. So this should be close to an i5 4690 or something like that. So we are in the grass again, and now we're getting, as you can see, we're using almost the whole GPU, 97%. And as you can see, we're very close to 60. We're pretty much there, actually. And we are in the worst case scenario, mostly into the tall grass. We'll sometimes drop to 53, 52, but you won't notice it. I don't will notice it if the overlay is off. But let's now fly again into the city. That's where the frame rate was dying into the, well, I was flying very fast because the CPU was not enough for that. Was just bottlenecking the GPU, and now we're flying. And we drop fast, and we pick up again. And as you can see, for now we're pretty much fine. Let's fly closer to the ground, so we have more detail. And well, as you can see, the worst drop so far was 51 frames per second. Now we're at 70s. 71, 68, 69, 67. Let's now get higher, just like before. And we're flying that direction. And as you can see, we are totally fine now. We're flying. We don't have an issue now. We don't even drop below 50. So that's good news. Let's now try 900p. Whether we have the chance. 900p. And as you can remember, 900p was like into the low 40s and high 30s. Now we're at 60, 70, 60. Let's turn around, just like we did before. And we fly back. And as you can see, we are totally fine in the frame rate scenario. We don't drop below 50. Now we did, but for a second. But as you can see, it's a 90-day difference. Now we have 60s while flying. We used to have 38 to 45, so that's a big difference. And that was just the fault of the CPU. The GPU, as you can see, we still have some bottleneck. the GPU isn't being used at 90% like it should. But the i5 is doing one hell of a job. If I use all the cores of the i7, if I enabled hyperthreading, I should be at way closer to 100%, to 99%, I mean. But as you can see, it's way better now. Then let's try 720p. That was the frame rate killer. While we were flying, we were at 40 frames per second most of the time. And I will, yeah, whatever. Now we're at 70. Let's go around. But as you can see, the same problem stands. As while I lower the resolution, the CPU gets more work to do. As you can see, we're using 60% of the GPU. So if you have a more powerful CPU and want to play at 720p, you will have over 70 frames per second while flying. But you see what I mean now? This game uses CPU. I'm sure if I get into if I stop moving, the frame rate should be way higher than this. We're at 60 most of the time. So that's pretty much the frame rate we all aim for. Let's try landing here and see what if the frame rate is better while we are not moving. Okay. So as you can see, I just move very slowly now in comparison to the chopper. And now we are having very high frame rates. But as you can see, this game runs fantastically on the GTX 950. As you could see there, it dropped. Well, it was just for a second. Oh, I will get your bike. I don't care about that car. Well, let's try it fast. You're not gonna win. Yeah, I got him. Yay. As you can see, flying is the biggest problem with the CPU, because it's slowing a lot of assets in the distance. So the problem is moving fast. That's the only issue I found with the game so far. Let's move this where it was. Whoa! Let's let them move, please. No, don't kill me, please. I have a lot to live for. Okay, so I hope that cleared all your thoughts about CPUs and GTA 5. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.